I'm going to walk you through every rule you need to build a house without getting ripped off, running out of money halfway through, or ending up in a home that doesn't actually work for your life. And once you know these rules, you'll be able to go from empty lot to keys in hand without losing your mind. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what those rules are, based on the mistakes I made building my own place and the ones I watched other people make. Rule number 1, the true cost rule. Before you pour a single foundation, you need a real number. Not a guess. Take the number the builder quotes you, and multiply it by 1.3. That extra 30% is your buffer for permits, delays, material price jumps, and the, "oh, we found something under the slab," surprise. Once you have that real number, everything else gets easier, because now you're planning against reality instead of a fantasy budget. So now you've got your number. How do you actually make sure the build matches it? Rule number 2, master the 4 phases. Every house project falls into one of 4 buckets, and if you don't understand all 4, you will get burned in at least one of them. The first is design. This is the architect and the floor plan. This is where you decide how the house actually functions, not just how it looks in a rendering. The second is permit. This is dealing with your city or county. Boring, slow, and completely non-negotiable. Skip this step or rush it and your whole timeline collapses later. The third, and the one people underestimate the most, is site. That's grading, drainage, soil, utilities. A beautiful house on bad ground is a beautiful problem. And the fourth is build, the actual construction. Framing, electrical, plumbing, finishes. This is the phase everyone pictures when they think, building a house, but it's only one of 4, and it's the one you have the least control over if you skip the first 3. You don't need to become a contractor yourself. You need to understand each phase well enough that nobody can quietly cut a corner on you. But even with a perfect plan, the house won't get built if you don't have the right people around you. Which brings us to rule number 3, hire the builder, not the price. This is going to sound backwards, because everyone wants the cheapest bid. But the cheapest bid on a house is almost never actually the cheapest house. See, if a general contractor lowballs you to win the job, they make it back somewhere, change orders, cheaper materials, rushed subs. The builder that's slightly more expensive up front but has a reputation for finishing on budget will save you money you can't even see yet. Here's how you actually vet one. Phase 1, call their last 3 clients, not the ones they hand you, ask for the ones from over a year ago, so you can see how the house held up. Phase 2, visit an active job site, not a finished one. A messy but organized site tells you everything. Phase 3, read the contract like it's the only thing that matters, because it is. Everything you agreed on verbally means nothing if it's not in that document. The best investment isn't the cheapest lumber. It's the person managing all the people touching your house. Rule number 4, we have to use systems, not willpower. Building a house is hundreds of small decisions, and if you try to hold all of them in your head, you will burn out around month 4. Instead, systemize it. The first is a decision log. Every choice, tile, fixtures, paint, gets written down with the date and who approved it. This kills the, "I never agreed to that," fights before they start. The second is a single point of contact. One person on your side talks to one person on the builder's side. The moment you have 5 people emailing 5 people, nothing gets decided and everything gets blamed on someone else. The third is a weekly walkthrough. Even 15 minutes a week on-site catches problems when they cost $200 to fix instead of $20,000 to fix after the drywall's up. The fourth is a contingency fund that you do not touch for anything except the build. Not the kitchen you want to upgrade. Not the deck you suddenly want bigger. That fund exists for the ground doing something the soil report didn't predict. A little bit of structure early means you're not improvising for the next 12 months. But a great system is useless if you don't know how to move through the actual timeline. Which is why we need rule number 5, sequence beats speed. People want to rush the fun parts, picking countertops, choosing the front door color, and they want to rush past the boring parts, like the inspection schedule. Don't. Here's the order that actually protects you. First, lock your design changes before permits are submitted. Every change after that resets your timeline and your city's queue. Second, don't pick finishes until the framing is done. You will change your mind once you see the actual room, and that's fine, just don't lock in a $40,000 tile order before the walls exist. Third, schedule your inspections like flights, not like suggestions. Missing an inspector's window can cost you 2 or 3 weeks waiting for the next opening. Fourth, walk the site before drywall goes up, every single time. Once the walls close, every wire and pipe is invisible, and so is every mistake. Virality isn't luck, and neither is a house that finishes on time, it's a sequence, followed in order. Rule number 6, don't finance your flex. This is the one that gets people. A slightly bigger loan for a slightly nicer kitchen doesn't feel like a big deal in the moment. It feels like a big deal for the next 30 years. There's good house debt and bad house debt. Good debt is a mortgage size to what you can actually carry if one of you loses a job for 6 months. Good debt is financing structural things, foundation, roof, insulation, because those protect the asset itself. Bad debt is financing the heated driveway and the outdoor kitchen you'll use 4 times a year, on a loan that stretches your monthly payment past what's comfortable. I know a couple who upgraded almost every finish mid-build because we're already borrowing the money anyway. 2 years later they were house rich and completely cash poor, unable to actually enjoy the home they built because every spare dollar went to the mortgage. Build the house you can afford to actually live in, not just the one you can technically qualify for. And finally, rule number 7, build for the life you're living, not the one you're performing. This is the real rule underneath all the others. A house isn't the goal. The life inside it is the goal. Don't build a formal dining room you'll use twice a year because it photographs well. Build the mudroom you'll walk through every single day. Don't chase the biggest square footage on the block if it means every room sits empty and every dollar goes to heating and cleaning space you don't use. The best house isn't the one that impresses people who visit once. It's the one that makes your actual, regular Tuesday better. That's the whole point of doing this right, not a bigger house, but a better one for the people who are actually going to live in it. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most people who start a build. You don't need a construction background or a family fortune. You need the number, the 4 phases, the right builder, a system instead of willpower, the right sequence, debt that matches your life instead of your ego, and a design built around how you actually live. Now, if you want to see how I laid out my own timeline month by month, click the video on screen and I'll walk you through it.